Hey, this is Royce Hall, your host of the Coffee Dreaming Podcast. I'm fresh back from Dreamforce. I want to share 3 thoughts that I had coming out of Dreamforce with you today. First, I think the big thing I noticed was that there's a changing tone at Salesforce around Agentforce. I know that we've all heard Agentforce so many times. Many of us are sick and tired of hearing about it. But the thing that has been churning in the industry is Agentforce going to take our jobs? There's a lot of fear in the marketplace about that. And one of the things that I heard in the keynote and in the talks that I went to, and just as people were talking in the hallways, was we're not talking about Agentforce taking jobs. We're talking about empowering people. I feel like earlier in the year, there's a lot of talk about how many jobs we can get rid of, how many people we can get rid of off our payroll because of agents. And now there's a bit of a shift towards how do we make the people we have more efficient. So I think that's good news for the industry. I still hear people out there saying, okay, admins are being overlooked. But I think that, when I look at it, hey, look, Mark Benioff, he's a great guy, but he did not create Agentforce himself. He didn't code that himself, right? And all these agents that are going out into the real world, he didn't code those themselves. He maybe had the idea, but he had somebody else go and do that for him, right? So our CEOs, they're still coming up with ideas, but they don't want to be the ones that are maintaining this tech. They don't want to be the ones that are saying, okay, I'm going to build this agent. I'm going to tweak it over and over and over and over again. What are they going to do? They're going to hand that off to their technical folks. They're still going to ask their admins, their developers to do this work. So that's another good news for everybody. I do think there's a complication here, though, in that Salesforce rolled out Agentforce Vibe, their vibe coding tool, during the keynote. Now, I do think that poses a problem, but maybe not as you're thinking. The problem I see is that when an agent spits out code, like most AI products, it's maybe 80%, 90% there, but somebody has to go in and make it 100%, right? So a lot of times that's going to require somebody who's familiar with coding, a senior developer, a mid-level developer, not really your entry-level developers. So there's going to be a problem in the ecosystem of, okay, if we're doing more and more vibe coding, how do our juniors become middle and senior developers? If we're asking everybody to do vibe coding, how does a junior know what good code looks like, and how do they level up? So I think that there's going to be a problem of advancement, of career advancement coming in the ecosystem. So something to look out for. The second big thing that I heard was Salesforce's continued push towards Agentforce. Again, I know that that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but what Benioff said in his keynote was, we're all using this stuff in our consumer technology, right? We're using ChatGPT, we're using Claude, we're using LLMs in our daily lives these days. We're not just relying on Google and things like that. We are directly going to LLMs. We're doing that in our daily lives, but we're not doing that in our professional lives. So this push towards Agentforce is really following consumer activities, and in many ways is catching up. So kind of reframing that conversation, yes, it's going to be the future. We're pushing hard towards that direction because we're trying to catch up with what people are already doing and taking advantage of personally so that we can do that professionally. Now, there's been bumps in the road, right? There's, you can go look at Salesforce's service page and the issues they've been there. Mark talked about being client zero, so they are kind of eating their own dog food. And there's a lot of problems that have come in along the way, but that's how product creation and advancement happens, right? So they're pushing hard to it. Salesforce is the platform, so they're trying to add new technology to the platform place so that you have access to cutting edge AI in your sales, in your marketing, in your service, all across the board, powering your whole revenue operations. Then I think the third big thing I heard was Data 360. So Data Cloud has been renamed yet again to Data 360. And the push is a good push, I think. It's about data and emphasizing that in order for an agent to work well, You got to have good data. It's got to be clean. It's got to be well architected. It's got to be organized well. It's got to be connected to your automations. You got to have good data. So I think again that's good news for the community because hey, it's the same. The truth today is the truth as it always has been. Your automation is only good as your data. So if you're out there, you're an admin, you're a developer, you're an architect. At the end of the day, it's still about getting the data set up well so that we can use it with whatever automation, whatever flows, AI, reports, dashboards we're doing, getting those things right. So we definitely need humans in the loop. We need people pushing forward that narrative and building good architecture so that whatever we build on top of that is running well. So that's my takeaway. Love to hear your takeaway. Are you happy about what you heard? Are you disappointed about what you heard? Are you angry about what you heard? Share it all.